Okay, welcome to our TV. So today we want to talk about forgiveness. A lot of people are, having hard time to forgiving themselves or others, but this is one of the most important things to raise our vibration and then to move on to a better timeline. Forgiveness is really important because when we are holding on our anger or resentment or whatever the lower emotions within ourselves and the energy field, we are um, stuck ourselves in lower timelines because this energy is within our souls that could be like from your past lives and then could whatever even present lives, this energy is very very heavy, right? Or if you can really forgive yourself and you give yourself a punishment, that's how often a lot of my experience from I'm hearing from my clients how they can recreate their karmic patterns. So, Sue, what can you tell about forgiveness?
One of the first things that comes to mind is um, the blame situation. Whenever we encounter something where we either need to forgive ourselves or forgive others, I think it's key to put the blame down and look into the situation for what can be learned. Now, that's, I know, a big ask, especially in a situation where somebody feels victimized. But the blame game never helps us to raise our vibration. As a matter of fact, it keeps us stuck in the lower vibration of, anger, resentment, pain, suffering, victimization. The victim mentality is a low vibration. Okay. So if you're one of those people that goes around and saying if everybody's doing something to me, then that just draws more of that to you. So I think first, before you can forgive another, you have to learn how to be able to forgive yourself. And what I mean by that is even if you are the victim to you, there's going to be a part that says, why did I put up with that? Or why didn't I see that coming? Or many, many blame related scenarios that we play through our minds about that situation. So that's just not helpful. Okay. The beauty of a situation like that, and here's the silver lining, is that there's always a lesson that can be gained from introspecting about what happened. Okay. Even if it's a guy who's walking down the street and steals your purse. Okay. There's something that can be garnered from that. And as a matter of fact, there's a story, this man who had his wallet stolen. And this was years ago. And I remember seeing it on the news, and he wasn't mad. He wasn't upset in any way. And I wondered, how can that be? And it was around Christmas time, actually. And he said, I'm not upset because I know for that man to have taken my wallet that he must have needed it more than I did. And that just kind of blew me away because there was some wisdom there, I mean, people do desperate things generally for a reason, not just because they're evil and they want to do them. They're usually acting out of their own pain in some way. And so his insight really helped me to introspect on situations and to be able to see the other person's possible point of view. Now, it's not easy to do that when you're heavy into the victim mentality. Like, this just happened and it was so horrible and that person is so wrong and there's no way you could possibly ask me to forgive that person. Great. That's where you are. That's okay. So bring it back home into yourself and say, okay, now what am I blaming myself for?
It's a really good question because a lot of the times when I talk to the people who sort of like decided to not to change themselves because they are very focusing on what other people did. I deal with a lot of relationship issues with a possible prospective clients, and then they don't see they're the one also playing the situationship of it. Of course, it looks like you're a victim, but they say, oh, like this person is a blame, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just they're not up for changing themselves. But other clients who decided to change themselves, regardless of what's going on, because they feel like they want to be empowered. So when they do that, and then often when they go through past life regressions, we find out the cause of it, root cause of it. And then often they are also participating, creating this situation in the past life, and then that stuff wasn't resolved. So it's gonna carry it on to the present life. So that's why it's repeating, but you don't know that, because they are dealing of past lives and the parallel lives. You are also participating, creating this situation. So you learn the lesson. So after that, you know how to fix yourself.
It's a hard pill to swallow for some people when I say to them, we chose all of this and we're having experiences, and for whatever reason you chose to experience this in your life. When you're talking about a trauma or a negative event in their life, or a situation where in relationship they're being hurt by somebody. So I try to break it down a little less in your face and say things like, okay, why do you think that you keep bringing the same type of person into your life? Why do you think that you're attracting these individuals that use and abuse and don't treat you well? And I try to start there, to personal responsibility, because if they can imagine thinking about it out of the victim role into why am I, bring the question in, why am I attracting these people? Like my friend over here, she keeps getting these great guys, and they treat her like a queen. Why am I not attracting those people? Yeah. So, once those questions start becoming answers for the individual that I'm working with, then we talk about self forgiveness. And what that is, and I'm going to put it to you so simply, you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah.
And now that you know, how about you cut yourself some slack and be happy for yourself that you have allowed yourself to figure it out. And now you're not going to do X, Y, and Z that led you to attract these jerks into your life.
Definitely.
Right?
Once you
So,
figure out your cause, the root cause, why this is happening, then you can say goodbye for good. That's
yeah.
why what Sue and I offer is very valuable, because we are not just doing regular therapy stuff. You talk about your problem, and then hopefully your problem gonna go away. So how can you solve this
When
problem?
somebody's past that point and they're really interested in knowing about past life.
Yeah, but you don't necessarily have to know about past life. You just want to get rid of the root cause and want to solve the problem. You can be more open mind to it, whatever that is. So how can we reach our forgiveness? We can reach our forgiveness by accepting the situation as is and start out from there. We can feel whatever the emotion we're feeling. It could be anger, it could be resentment, it could be sadness, it could be any kind of feelings we are feeling, and then accepting whatever the emotions you are going through right now. Acceptance is one step toward forgiveness. And then after you go through these emotions, you are ready to change yourself. What do you think is the next step, Sue, after you accept your situation and the emotions and then you're ready to change?
Next step is then to imagine that what possibly the other person might have experienced to cause them to behave that way. If you're trying to forgive somebody else, we need to see them as humans with foibles and traumas and experiences just like we have. So, even though that's not the easiest thing to do in the world, when we find a calm moment and we're not doing our anger and our feelings about it, then we need to maybe look at the other person's situation, even though we may not know them at all. I
Yes.
imagine
Yes.
maybe they had an abusive childhood. Maybe they were, neglected and never had any emotional support in their life. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, there's a million maybes, and the fact of the matter is, we'll never really know unless they tell us what it is that they've gone through. But we can imagine it, because hurt people hurt other people.
Yes.
Okay, you're not going to get abuse from somebody who's had a lot of nurturing and joy in their life.
Yes. That is absolutely true. But for people who are going through codependency relationship and your partner is codependent or narcissistic, just because you go through the other person's situation and have empathy of it, that doesn't mean you're gonna cut the slack for what they did to you. You're gonna let your emotion goes. You're gonna let your feelings. You're gonna let your feelings of your anger or whatever the feeling you're holding on to toward your partner. But that doesn't mean you are letting that person coming back into your life and then try to work on the situation, because some of the relationships are very toxic. So when your relationship is toxic, and then now in the forgiveness stage, you can see other person's point of view, and then you let go of your own emotions toward that person. That doesn't mean you're gonna let that person coming back into your life. You still have to set the boundaries, you guys. Forgiveness doesn't mean you're gonna bring that person back into your life because you can see other person's point of view. So they're gonna keep on, let them abuse you. That's not what we are talking about. We're talking about you can see through the other person's point of view. So you can let go of your own emotions toward that person. So you're free from emotional bondage. So once you finish the relationship with that person, when you meet another person, you're not gonna repeat same patterns. You're not gonna somehow manifest different guy with same problem or different girl with same problem. So last tip
Yeah.
we can share. What's your last tip, most important thing for forgiveness, Sue?
If you're not ready to forgive, be willing to be ready to forgive. Okay? Because when we open up that energy, that allows everything else to start coming that we were talking about. So, do you know what I'm saying? I may not be ready, but I'm getting ready to be ready. And there's a willingness there, and that changes and shifts the energy of the situation to begin to open up to the willingness to forgive is a really good start.
Yeah, this is especially for guys, I want to tell you, because you guys force yourself so hard to make stuff happen and try to be in control of the situation. So I don't want guys to try to force yourself to forgive ladies, or if you're gay, another guy, because when you can't. So accept your situation right now, and that's part of self love. And then when you're ready, you can. But you don't have to force yourself to do that. Just accept where you are at, and then go from there. It might be not so easy to try to forgive another person. Some of them might have had a sexual abusive relationship, or raped by someone, stuff like that. It's not that easy, right? So if you can't get there, you don't have to get there right now. You can just accept
Right.
where you are at and go from there. And at least when you can see other people's situation, you can come into peace.
There's a big movement around our circles now, talking about, because yeah, forgiveness is for you. It isn't necessarily for the other person, because forgiving them doesn't mean that you say it's okay what they did.
Yeah.
What it does is it releases you from the energetic of being a victim.
Mm-hmm.
You've taken your power back.
releasing you from your soul contract. When you're having karmic contract, you're releasing yourself from it. So your contract is over.
Yeah.
So that's what we wanted to share with you guys today. And then next week, we're going to talk about more interesting subject. So thank you so much for watching. Please share, like, subscribe. Thank you so much, Sue.
Thanks, Erica. It was a pleasure.
Bye.